welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, and guys, we got a fucking show for you tonight. First, let me introduce the hardcore crew. Over from Lance Moss TV, he's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how we doing?
Y'all hear any juicy rumors last night?
I think we heard quite a few. We'll be talking about them tonight. And over from the Skeleton Realms, he's the Lord Skeleton himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's shaking, buddy? We got a...
he paused for a minute because he knows what's coming.
Yep.
Hello, my friends. What
all right.
That's Joe at Skeleton Realms.
What? Thank you.
Joe, stop. Seriously, come on, man.
I gave Vince McMahon a bunch of...
if I knew that, Joe, I wouldn't have you on the show tonight.
Hey, I'm the entertainment.
Yeah.
I tell
you're the lawsuit. That's what you are.
I'm the lawsuit waiting to happen. And if people can't take it, fuck them too. But they love it. They love it. You know what? I will refrain myself. How's that? I will do that.
All right. Good enough. Well, why don't we get the show going?
Boss.
Yep. Lance? You said boss.
You forgot to introduce somebody?
Oh, is Zoe in the room?
Yeah.
Oh, Zoe, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you came in, honey. I apologize. Yes, the Vicious Vixen, Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, my apologies, baby. I didn't know you were in the room.
I'll forgive you this time.
Fair enough. Well, while we're talking about women, let's talk about one of the biggest women in wrestling today. Stephanie McMahon announced yesterday that she has resigned as CEO and chairwoman. This happened right off the heels of Vince McMahon strong-arming his way back into the company last week. Guys, we already talked about this. So basically, in short, what she had said is that she was taking a leave of absence while Vince was running the company. The lawsuit hit. He took his resigned, retired, whatever you want to call it, and then she came in and pretty much took over the company, and things started looking great. But so Vince back, so she decided, you know what? I'm not only going to just take a leave of absence, I'm going to resign now. So, Zoe, what's your thoughts on this whole situation?
I mean, she's gone for now, but I guarantee you she'll be back. Just wait and see. As far as her being gone, I don't know. I kind of wonder if something went down in that all hands on deck meeting or something went down between her and Vince, and she was like, you know what? I'm going to respectfully walk away.
And you know what, guys? That is the obvious question. Joe, what do you think is going on with the situation?
You know what? I think this is a situation that is probably something big is going to happen, and she didn't want no part of it. As we know, Vince McMahon still has litigations going on. Some of the cases have been tossed out. Some of them are still ongoing. And here's the thing, he is the majority stockholder, and we spoke about this. I'm not going to go into the whole long rant and business and all this stuff. But if there is a situation that the company that Vince is muscled in, which he did, he fired a couple people, brung his own people in. And if they tend to sue him for, trying to take over and all that, this could get ugly. And this could be something that can really turn bad. So what if Stephanie decided with Paul, and that's another thing, Paul is still working there, Triple H. So if she stepped out of that role and resigned, maybe there's something looming that she didn't want to be part of, because Stephanie's has always been daddy's little girl. She's the princess. But when a person leaves the company, and she resigned, that means something more shit is coming that who knows what's happening. We'll know, Rick, when Triple H announces that he's resigning.
Yeah, no kidding. I found it very interesting, though, in her resignation letter that she was still supportive of WWE. Now, obviously, Lance, that was obviously some kind of a PR, coverage. But what's your final thoughts on this whole situation?
Anybody else feel like you're watching a weird new version of The Godfather or some shit? Because this is just, I'm just saying, when the hell did the McMahons become the Corleones, and who's waking up with the horse head in their bed?
Rick, over in our YouTube channel, Terry3G says, "Evening to all on the panel and in the chat." How you doing, Terry?
Hey, Terry.
Welcome, Terry. Yeah, so
It's the episode of As the Stomach Turns.
I was gonna say it's another reality show called the McMahons. We don't need the Osbournes. We got the McMahons. You know, fuck the Kardashians. The McMahons has enough fucking controversy to last a lifetime.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Let's move along. Now, obviously, we've been hearing the whole shitload of rumors of WWE being sale, which is that's why Vince came in so he could, master a sale. The biggest, the most obnoxious one is WWE selling to Saudi Arabia. Now, I heard this and I read that, and I didn't even bother reading that article. I saw just fake news, bullshit news, whatever you want to call it. Because, let's say, hypothetically, guys, if the Saudis purchased WWE, the women's roster would be obliterated in a matter of seconds. Joe, what female would want to work, for the Saudis and the WWE Saudi with, obviously their strict standards?
Anyone that wants to get paid. Let's put it that way. Let's face it, the women there would probably but if they had no problem doing it when they were in Saudi Arabia, because they actually wore the bodysuit and a shirt on top. This is a situation we're talking about that these people would be literally, as long as you pay me a huge amount of money, I don't care. There's especially with people from WWE, they've had it so well. I doubt they're gonna turn around and says, "I'm not gonna work for them." Screw that. As long as they don't ask the talent to move to Saudi Arabia, I don't see them having any issues. Maybe they're gonna be they'll have to put on stuff, but again, this is American television. They might do 2 different programs. If it happens, and again, folks, this is if it happens. Can you imagine? You might see Alexa Bliss in a nice bikini on USA, and over in Habib Wrestling channel in Saudi Arabia, they have her with a full, hijab or whatever the gown is called, wrestling. You sure that's Alexa Bliss? Trust me on it. So I don't think it really matters as long as these people are getting paid enough. Well, here's what I learned in today's business, and I'm going to make all my rants short, folks. I'm not going to go over a whole bunch of shit, but in today's business, loyalty goes out the window. It's the almighty dollar. Nobody gives a shit about the passion of the business. Nobody gives a shit unless you're in the indie level or you have made enough money that's all you care about is the passion. Today's corporate environment, if you're paying me enough, we'll do what you want. Yes, sir, indeed, without having to put their lives in danger or push them in a situation that they're going to get, sexually harassed. If they go to Saudi Arabia, most likely that's what will happen. But again, Rick, anybody would do. It's Ted DiBiase all over again.
Everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got a price. Thank you.
Well, Zoe, you're the female in the room. Now we know how Saudis are when it comes to women. They want them to be very, conformed. And so, what's your thoughts on this whole situation, alleged situation?
I think it's bull. I don't see them selling out to Saudi Arabia. If they did, I could see a few superstars, not a lot, but a few superstars that probably would quit the company, one being Brock Lesnar. As far as the girls goes, me personally, as a wrestler, I wouldn't mind wrestling in those, covered up outfits, long sleeve, shirts and tights and everything. That's just my comfort. But I guess it really just depends on the girls who are in the company. It's not up to me. It's up to them as what they want to do with their life in the company.
All right, fair question. All right. Lance, over to you. Now, let me ask you this. This is a hypothetical situation that Saudi would purchase WWE. You also have to consider would they air everything down in Saudi Arabia, or would they have a representative come work up in the States?
I'd almost say a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like they'd have how can I put this? Programming design that would fit more toward the conservative ways that Saudi Arabia is, but you'd also have the worldwide program as well, but there'd also be certain things you ain't getting away with anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, again, they would also have a lot stricter policies. Over in the chat room, Terry3G said, yes, one worker said they would be done with, I thought about it quickly, and obviously it would be Sami Zayn, as he would not wrestle over there, because, yes, Lance, you and I talked about Sami Zayn and how he has issues with Saudis.
Yeah. He's Syrian. Well,
exactly.
Of Syrian descent, but yeah.
So, again, you see there would be so many more problematic issues there, not just with the women. So, but again, WWE Saudi selling no, I don't see it. If WWE sold, go ahead.
If they do, can somebody make sure to give them an updated active roster list so they don't sit there and start requesting Andre the Giant again?
Or Yoko War, who died 2 damn days after his induction.
Yeah.
Hey, if the Saudis bought it, can you imagine the Iron Sheik winning the world title or Mustafa Ali?
Hey. The Sheik is a former WWF champion, but you know.
Exactly. Break it, that jumper on the Hulk Hogan. I break it back and make it humble.
All right.
He will be. Can you imagine that? He will be the world champion. Sheik Adnan LKC will be his manager. You have freaking Davari being returned, and I'm not saying everybody on the roster will become Arabic, but when everybody starts playing and everybody's flying into the magic carpet, that's when you know there's something wrong.
Well, again, I think that's probably why Vince is saying, you know, I want to make this legacy somewhere else and great, but
Vince, if somebody opened up a briefcase of money that Vince decides to go cha-ching, I could finally buy the Playboy Mansion now and really run wild.
Yeah,
I could see the Saudis present him a briefcase of gold, because let's not deny it, they're the richest fucking nation in the world. They open up their fucking thing and they show off the money. They'll give him 2 camels with 2 humps. They'll give him a couple of wives with a few humps, and he'll walk away with it. So,
okay, well, let me ask you this, guys. Let's say hypothetically again, there's other big buyer names such as Fox, Disney, Amazon. I think even Warner Brother Discovery was even mentioned during some of the highlights before the whole Saudi rumor went run amok.
And Rick, don't forget NBC's Bob Eisner, who actually worked with McMahon to make Saturday Night's Main Event the originals.
Well, again, so let's say, okay, the one day comes that Vince decides, you know what, I'm going to sell this whole thing. What does that mean for the higher ups? I'm talking about all the management. That alone, Joe, you know, you have to think about them getting, you know, their jobs.
Put it like this, it would just fall under what happened with WCW. They'll replace them after a week or month, and it'll be replaced with somebody corporate or somebody they feel. This is the same scenario of WCW if it gets sold. Now, mind you, this is all rumors, you know, and Vince is probably fanning it himself just to cause panic and just to bring. Look how we're talking more about WWE. Meanwhile, WWE, if you look at their stuff, they're still going along like nothing's happened. So you don't see mass walkouts. You don't see this. You don't see that. No matter how many people hate McMahon or whatever the scenario is, their workers are actually still working. So they still Monday Night Raw. Lance, you even put into, what is it, Monday Night Raw hit 30 years now?
Yes, today is the 30-year anniversary.
So there you go. They're going on as business as usual. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's walking out. So these people, they know a good thing when they got it. So Rick, I don't see Any changes on that level, management level, it'll probably be like the same WCW revolving door until they find someone. And if some other company has it, let's say somebody completely bought it.
Okay. Well, hold on. I want to cut you off 1 second. Mark K is also in the chat room. Welcome, Mark. And he said, I'm amazed that people continue to watch the product when Vinnie Mac returned. And again, Joe, like you were saying, it doesn't matter. Right now, fans are watching the TV show. There was a lot of dissension in the ranks before Vince left, before the shit hit the fan. There were changes, last-minute changes all the time, but there was still others in the company, like Roman Reigns, who said, hey, I support, Vince McMahon 100%. He never did me wrong, and there were other people, I guess the higher ups who are, pretty much have the titles that are supportive of Vince, that are the
Well,
company guys.
let me put it like this to you. It's not that they support of McMahon, they support of their paychecks. It's like it doesn't matter at the end of the day who signs the paychecks as long as it's cleared and doesn't bounce. You know, if and at the same time you don't cross McMahon. You know, here's a guy from 1983 when he took the company over from his dad, transitioned it to the WWF instead of the WWF, made it with Hulkamania all the way to the biggest wrestling card of all time at that time, WrestleMania 3, all the way created the Attitude Era and all the way to the end when he bought WCW and ECW. You know, as much as you hate the guy and all that, whatever, I personally don't see an issue with him unless the only thing I see is the constant storyline changing and pushing this person and stopping. But at the end of the day, you think any of these people really give a shit? As long as they're getting their money, it's clearing in their banks, they can walk away and become household names. They don't give a shit. You know, as if they offer Sasha Banks money or Mercedes Monet, that bum bitch will turn around and sign the contract right again. If McMahon wanted Mandy Moore, hey, I want you to dance on my table. Do me a favor, strip your clothes like you do online. How much you paying me? Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
that's going to be on the next topic, Joe, so why don't we
Yeah, we'll
jump
get
onto
that.
that?
Okay.
As you all know, that Mandy Rose was released from the company. And this is, of course, she talked about the higher ups, and this is the first time she spoke out. She's now going to the name Mandy Sachs. So this is what she spoke with Tamron Hall, and in short, she said that she didn't feel wronged by WWE's actions. She was hurt. Rose also said that she was privately warned to take down her fan time page, but didn't. And lastly, she said that she's grateful for her time in the WWE. Rose didn't mention whether she plans on moving on with her career or, if she just wants to stick with this fan time thing out. Lance, what's your thoughts?
Well, it sounds like she knows this $1 million month thing ain't going to last forever, because she also said she'd be willing to negotiate taking it down to come back.
Well, again, there you go. She would have to probably take that down first beforehand. There's another female wrestler that allegedly has come back, and she took down her OnlyFans page, but we're going to get that in a few minutes. Zoe, what's your thoughts about Mandy Sachs and the situation where she said she's willing to, about what's going on with her wrestling career after this?
Well, I mean, of course she wants to come back. She's a wrestler. She's always going to be a wrestler. But then again, I'm also sitting here thinking, well, you were warned, but you didn't do it. That's like me warning you not to stick a paper clip into a plug-in.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Shocking.
Wow. All right, Joe, over to you. Now, let me ask you. Now, Mandy Sachs, at the end of the day, is a wrestler. Of course, right now, this fan time's bringing in some fast money. She has about 75 days or so, not exactly to the shirt, before her non-compete's gone. So right now, she can, do all the things she wants on her fan time. But do you see her wanting to return to wrestling one way or another?
No, Mandy Boobs. It's Sachs. What a fucking name. You're not Saks Fifth Avenue. You're
Well, her
Mandy
full name
Boobs.
is Amanda Sakoma.
I like Mandy Sachs better. Uh, so let's go. But you look at the girl. She's a drop dead gorgeous. You know,
Hmm.
your little FaceTime can only go so long before people say, been there, seen it, bye. You know, how many times are you gonna flash your boobs? Unless she starts going full blown porn and start playing with toys on her podcast or her stream, excuse me, then it's a different story. And again, everything can't last forever. So one, if she was smart, she would look to get into acting and modeling because wrestling is. I love wrestling and back in the day. Now it's like it just comes and goes. I don't. I'm not a. I like it, but I don't care for it as much as I used to. If it was me, I wouldn't be looking to go back to get bumped, injured, travel, get harassed by some fucking person in the back. Especially McMahon, he'll mess with her in the back, and I don't mean in the back room. You know, it will perfect sense to go for something else. But
Hell, you know
again,
what? Actually, now that Vince is back, maybe Mandy can talk to Vince and say, "Look, I'll put you on a prime account on my fans only,
yeah,
my fan
you
time
never know,
page."
Rick. You
You
Do you
know,
want
never
to be?
know.
Do you want to be a special feature?
yeah, exactly. Make him a VIP.
Hey, you
Stranger things
never
have
know.
happened.
It can happen. That's how funny wrestling is. But you know what? I see it straight. She should not go. You know, she doesn't need it. She already showed from FaceTime she can make $1 million. You know, I don't think she's blowing $1 million. She's probably blowing other things, but not $1 million in an instant. So honestly, she doesn't need it. If she knows what can happen when you come back, and do you really want to get into a position that you're going to lose to Charlotte Flair, woo, all over again, and be pushed back down the ladder? So,
Well, depending on how many millions of dollars they're willing to pay her a year.
oh yeah, see, and there it goes. See, Rick, now everybody has a price.
Absolutely, and like I said, I've never disagreed to that. I think with some people maybe, but for the most of the majority, you're right. It's about the pay. Well, moving along, Jay White's contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling looks like it could be coming to an end. White lost his world championship. Chikuza Okada. I know I didn't say that
Gesundheit.
right.
Gesundheit.
I'm sorry, at WrestleMania Kingdom 17, but he blamed Hikuleo for the loss. Now, there are rumors already circling that those two will have a match, a loser leaves Japan match, which is basing on the rumors that Jay White could be coming back to America. Obviously, two big promotions of question is AEW or WWE. Now, White has a lot of experience with AEW guys. He's also worked in AEW during the Forbidden Door promotions last year, but he also has several friends in the WWE. So I'm going to go right around the room here. Joe, who do you think Jay White would go with, AEW or WWE? And let for 1 minute, put the money aside.
Okay, put the money aside. AEW,
All right.
better young talent roster. You've got people you already know are there. That's one. And I can honestly see him being in a better situation wrestling wise because it still opens the door for him to do indies and it opens the door for him to go back to Japan even if it's for a different company. So WWE is going to be very restrictive. And with the turmoils going on right now in WWE, would you want to invest your career at this point to work for a company that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year?
Yeah, exactly. Zoe, over to you.
AEW.
All right. I'm pretty much thinking the same with Joe as about AEW because of more opportunities to work outside of AEW. I know that right now AEW is starting to have sign off some deals where some people are, exclusive AEW, but there are others where they can travel around the world. Lance, final thoughts.
Well, like y'all say, I'm gonna say AEW because one, you can still go around and go other places while under contract with AEW, and two, the sheer level of uncertainty in WWE right now, the clear choice is AEW.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, we're gonna move along now. We have an update on Tammy Sitch's manslaughter case or DUI.
Oh no.
Was pushed back once again by her attorney. According to Sitch, the 75 man that she allegedly killed died from a heart attack. Well, that's what happens when you get in a really nasty car accident. But apparently Tammy doesn't know that. At the time of the accident, Sitch was about 3.5 times the legal limit to drive. Sitch is also facing up to 26 years in prison. The weird thing about this whole situation is that Tammy Sitch is still taking bookings while in prison. Joe, help me here, please.
Yeah, come and see me in my prison time while my cellmate bangs me with a hairbrush. Yeah, like my fucking cellmate Wanda or Dakisha is gonna be fucking banging me in the rear while you watch me do facial expressions. I love you, Zoe. I love you, Zoe.
All right, Zoe, honey, I gotta put you in that position. Why
Don't put
would
her
a
in that
woman
position, please.
We're not that kind of show, boss.
I'm afraid now.
Well, let me ask. I mean, what woman would do bookings while still awaiting a murder trial, homicide trial? Who
An
does
idiot. An idiot named Tammy.
No, actually, Rick, you know what? I just thought of this. It makes a lot of sense. She's taking bookings. That's how you're paying for your lawyers. So honestly, the days of sunny are long gone. This is like cloudy with a chance of storm.
Oh
And
no, the sun is already set and gone, and
Oh, yeah.
no sign of returning.
Yeah.
And plus, the individual, I read the article, I believe it is, the individual had a heart attack prior to the incident.
Well, that's their
So-
defense.
Right. So, can you imagine he saw her coming and she had this strange look on her face? I'm trying to beat the Usos in their DUI racket. And she gets caught, but the Usos don't. Shows you who got the better lawyers. And obviously the person saw her coming, had a heart attack, dropped, and she accidentally ran him over. Like,
Oh,
Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ. Oh, my God. Lance, final thoughts.
Hey, Tammy, bet you wish you wouldn't have stood us up, huh, bitch?
Actually, no. True story, guys, about we were going to have her on the show, and a friend of mine who used to come on the show every now and again advised me not to. Now, I think this is honestly because he had talked all about rumors. I'm talking about Vinny the Guido. And I told her that she had already come on. I talked with the manager and everything. And then he goes, oh, no, you don't want to do it. You don't want to get anywhere near that. I'm like, okay. And like a moron, I took his advice and I said, I'm sorry, we're booked.
And Rick, and don't forget too, I had talked to Tammy once too. So, and she was interested in coming on too. But then at that last moment, she pulled out of it. Imagine her pulling out of something.
No, go to your house.
Hang on.
All right.
Hey, let's say this. Back in her early WWE days, she was the one.
Yeah,
She was the
but
girl, the
now-
pinup girl. Now it's like she looks like she's dated Pinhead and he lost. It's
God.
she looks like a 70-year-old grandmother who just got pissed off and beat the cat.
Well, that's what happens when you smoke, drink, and do a lot of heavy drugs.
And you know what? I want to say this. I want to ask the crew this. Obviously we know her hardships. We've seen her situations come and gone. All the time. It is kind of a pity for her because it's like she had she had, what was it, Chris Candido, that was really solid. Of course she was doing shit there too, but in the end, it's like you make a choice in life, and she just continues, knowing that her situation is bleak, and she hooks up with the wrong people. They use her for her name value, and then she falls into depressions, and then this is what happens. It's a sad tale of a person that you gone from the top of the point in WWE. You were in Playboy. You were making this shitload of money, and look where you're at. So far down. She makes Missy Hyatt look like the golden child.
Yeah. And it really, at the end of the day, it really is a sad story. Um, now,
Now, are we gonna fuck with that picture that you posted up? Absolutely.
oh no, there's another picture I just posted up. We're switching gears now to Chelsea Green, who's reportedly back in the WWE. Um, while nothing has been confirmed, many believe that she returned to the company due to her recently shutting down her OnlyFans page. With this in mind, there have been also rumors of Green's husband, Matt Cardona, also known as Zack Ryder, could possibly be returning to the company. Cardona is right now working for NWA and Impact Wrestling, but he did state in the past that he would consider going back to WWE as long as he did not use his previous ring name. He even stated in a tweet, he said that the name Zack Ryder is dead to him. So, Zoe, your thoughts on Chelsea Green possibly back in the WWE?
I mean, I think she's a pretty good wrestler as far as that goes. If she comes back to WWE, I just hope that they don't drop the ball with it and they give her a decent gimmick this time. Because that iconic crap, I wanted to throw the remote at the TV every time I heard
Chelsea
it.
Green was in one of the Iconics.
No, that's not. She wasn't in the Iconics.
Well, then I'm thinking of somebody completely different, and I have no idea who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I love that.
Lance,
That's
I know
it.
you know who Chelsea Green is, so take it away.
Well, I hope if she does, I hope they actually give her a shot this time. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't when she came up to the main roster, she broke her hand or her?
She broke her. Yeah.
And then they basically just released her.
Oh, now I know who you're
After
talking
two
about.
matches.
Yeah, she didn't do much up on the main roster. She was good down at NXT, and then she called up, and that's when she got injured. And actually, I think that she got injured down at NXT, guys. I think she was injured twice.
Or something like that.
I like I said, my history's a little bit foggy. The only thing I know about is that she's got a hot body.
Uh-huh.
Now I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Go back to
now-
Zoe.
You know it.
All right, Joe, your take on this whole thing.
If she comes back, that's fine. I would say go back, use her real name, and don't give her any gimmicks. That's the problem with WWE. Let her be her. See how well that works, and then release her if she doesn't work. As far as Zack Ryder goes, or whatever, Matt Cardona, if WWE hands him enough money, oh woo woo woo, oh absolutely, he'll go back. Don't be deceived by that stupidity. Like, I'm not going back and they're going to make me this. Stupid. How much you making on the indies and how much can we give you? You can take back the food stamp card from Impact and we're giving you this amount. Oh, woo, woo, woo. It's all about money. I'm sorry if that seems to be the main thing out of me, but these guys are making demands like there's something else.
Well, Joe, if I may, Cody had it in his contract that if they cannot call him Stardust again.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Well, here's the difference, though, Lance. Look what Cody has done from leaving after being Stardust. He reimagined himself as the American Nightmare. Literally helped fund a rival company that was kicking people's ass. And he came back and they offered him more money to come back, and under the condition that they have to use him as him. And that you can do because he did. It's like Drew McIntyre. He came back. Of course, they gave him Drew McIntyre again. but he was a better commodity now coming back. Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona really hasn't done anything to change his character or looks or come up with a sensational gimmick that'll win something over. He's still Matt Cardona. He's still not changed. Cody reinvented himself. Drew McIntyre reinvented himself. So that's, I think, and over in the chat room, surprised WWE doesn't want Ruby Riott back now that her nose is broke and she looks prettier now. No, she does not.
No.
Unless you put her in the stable with Shayna Baszler and what and Tamina, whatever, maybe no, not Tamina, somebody else. But put Shayna Black and Ruby Riott together, you got a crew that looks like they got smashed by trucks and won.
Yeah, that kind of kill ratings overnight. But now that you brought up Cody Rhodes real quick, and I don't know if you guys watched SmackDown this past weekend, past Friday, and they actually had a little teaser of his return. And I don't want to get way off subject, but I honestly think that he will be back for the Rumble. Yeah. And I think he's going to be the one that takes on Roman Reigns. The Rock coming back, I don't buy it, not for a second. But with that in mind, I want to get on to our last topic of the night. And this Wednesday Dynamite is looking great, especially with the main event being Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. This is a long feud in the waiting. But I have one huge fear. Is Jon Moxley just going to plow over Hangman Page, making another AEW original just fall over because Jon Moxley is a bigger name, Lance, help me out here.
Yeah, now I also see something happening. They're going to do the same spot where Hangman got injured. And they're going to kind of feign to it, but he's going to get up.
You're referring to the King Kong Lariat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, that's another possibility. Joe, can Hangman Page possibly win this match?
No. Now, ideally, he should, because he's been on the bad end of this feud and pretty much in AEW. But let's look at it like this. I'm glad you have the picture up between the two. Okay, I've said it before. Moxley is a one-trick pony. He does the hardcore. His promos are a little bit funny. Nothing like his Ambrose Asylum when he was in WWE, but he's more of a hardcore Stone Cold. And he's got, if you look at them both, you easily could pick out Jon Moxley. Lord knows we can ask Zoe and she'll know which one to pick out. No, not yet, Lance. He's out on parole while he does this show. But honestly, I like Adam Page. He's a great worker. He can get in there. He needs a makeover. I see he's growing a little bit of the beard. He needs a tougher image. The cowboy shit. This is 2023. You don't see Cowboy Bob Orton. You don't see the Blackjacks. You don't see this. He needs that gimmick that makes him look like a Rough Rider, like Cowboy James Storm. He's another cowboy, but he's different. He's like I hate to say it, but the Southern guy that you can hang out with in the bar, and he'll get into a fight and break bottles and shit like that. I've seen it. I was chased out of a Southern area because of that. But I don't see him getting an edge because Moxley's pushing so hard. Isn't he like next in line for like a title shot? I know Danielson is or whatever fucking
right now. No, Danielson is, well, that's the storyline. He's currently working up to Revolution.
MJF.
Yes. The storyline basically is that Bryan Danielson has to work every single match, and all the single match. If he loses one single match, not tag match, then he will be able to face MJF at Revolution. But of course, that Danielson set the stipulation, a 1 hour Iron Man match. So I think that's honestly, I cannot wait to see it. That pretty much got me all shaked up, and I'm really psyched.
Yeah. So let's look at it like this. Again, Page is a younger guy, has the tool sets. He just doesn't have the promo. He doesn't have the charisma. He's get in there, fight, and leave. And Moxley has come to this point that he knows he can't do the same thing. He comes in, does his little one-liners, does you could see him when he's in the ring. He plays to the fans, he plays to the ref, he plays to the opponent. He does little shits and then he'll go in there and fight back. Is his thing repetitive? Absolutely. Is his, coming down the fan side annoying at times? Yes. It's played out so many times, but that's what separates him from Hangman Adam Page. He reinvented himself. So I'm not a favor of the hardcore, too much hardcore shit. But Rick, compared the two, Moxley's always going to get that edge unless something happens that they. I don't know if Moxley, refresh my memory. Is he in any type of feud with anybody? Jay Lethal,
No,
Jeff Jarrett, or anybody? Or
no, right now
just him and Page?
it's just right now him and Paige has been ongoing for a couple of weeks where they've been like at each other's throats. Um, Now I'm gonna push this one to Zoe. Let's say Hangman wins, does a heel move. He turns heel in this match.
You guys are still just assuming I'm going to untie him and let him do this match.
Oh shit! So he might. So Paige just might win by default. Okay.
You see, that's the only way he's going to win.
Winner
Yep.
by count out.
Going to win, but I don't see Paige turning heel. There ain't no way he's going to turn heel. Everybody loves him as a face. He's still with the Dark Order. For him to turn heel, he needs to turn on the Dark Order and make everybody pissed off at him.
All right. Fair enough. So that's it for this week's edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I want to thank Terry 3G who hung out there. I also want to thank Mike who participated in the chat room. Guys, we're here every night, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Unless, of course, we have a special edition, which we did last Friday. Please check us out on our Facebook group section, HWR Chat Room. And also, if you want to support HWR, like and subscribe to Hardcore Wrestling Radio, Rants. Sorry, guys, it still pops in every now and then. Joe, you're over at Skull Realms. What do you got going?
Well, guys, you can check me out at Skuldrin's Realm. I am on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm also on Instagram and on Twitter at Skuldrin. And basically, I just play games from yesterday to today, from PC to console. Last night, I actually enjoyed playing an old GameCube game. I fired it up and put it on, and it was Luigi's Mansion. A lot of people enjoyed watching that. It was a classic game, really great. So if you're interested in checking me out, just do the hashtag Skuldrin's Realm. If you're interested in merchandise, shirt-wise, and everything, just go to skuldrinsrealm.live, and you can click that merch button. Not only will you see my shirts, but you'll see the hardcore crew themselves. Come up and get it. We need to buy Zoe some more rope to keep John Moxley down sometime.
Yes, we do.
Oh, and one side note, Terry 3G did point out that Hangman Page is not with the Dark Order anymore. He kind of went his own way. He didn't leave on bad terms. He just kind of separated from it. Zoe,
Wasn't he doing like a little bit of a? I'm sorry to cut you off, Rick, but I'm curious. Didn't they have an issue with him? Like I don't know if they were turning evil or he was kind of pushing them away.
I think it was more pushing them away. Yeah, so I do remember that there was like a lot of weird stuff that just didn't make sense. They just kind of wanted to separate without them going into a feud. Zoe, what do you got going down in down south?
Right now, I don't have anything going on. You can find me on Facebook at Zoe Nightshade. Also, check out Traditional Southern Wrestling on Facebook.
All right. And Lance, I know you do coffee time, but what else you got going over at Lance Boss TV?
Well, this weekend there will be another episode of Redneck Gourmet.
Oh,
It'll
perfect.
be a Philly cheesesteak bake.
Oh, that sounds good. Philly cheesesteak bake?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to tune in to watch. I'm going to be interested to see what's on there. All right, guys, so that wraps up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants for the Hardcore Crew. I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
Buy the shirt.